Hi, this is Justin Trout, Senior Programmer Analyst for Association Technology Solutions, and I'll be giving you just a quick overview of the volunteer management system that ATS built for telecom pioneers. First thing we're going to do is log into the system. If you don't already have an account, you can create one. By creating an account, you use the .NET IBOs to go ahead and enter all this information into iMIS and automatically create the record. We use Internet Security for the login information, but I already have an account, so I'll just go ahead and log in with that. This is the main volunteer management page here. This entire system is called the Pioneer Alliance Linkage System, or PALS for short, and comprises two major components. Volunteer management is but one of, so that we'll just focus on this second piece here for the purposes of this demo. Alright, well, let's begin at the beginning and create a new project. And we'll call it Demo Volunteer Management. The category is Education, and we'll create it as a virtual online type of project. And this is a demo of the volunteer management functionality. You can choose a nonprofit partner if, say, this event is going to be done in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity. In this case, I'll go ahead and leave that blank. You can also use the Change Project Lead button to assign someone else as the leader of the project. Make this window a bit bigger here. And I'm going to go ahead and assign Randy Richter as the project leader. And now we see that's changed in that box there. You can change the visibility of the project, public or private. That has to do with whether or not people within your own company or people within any company are going to be able to find this project when they search for it. And we'll just put in some details about the location of this project. And we're free to add additional details here that aren't required, but can help us narrow down the type of volunteers we're looking for this project. We can specify who we want to actually be able to volunteer for it, what interests might be applicable, and what skills and talents we're looking for in people. So I'm going to go ahead and just say education and leadership here, and maybe I'm looking for volunteers who have computer graphics and web design experience. So I'll check those. Save and continue brings me on to the next screen where I can actually specify time slots for this particular project. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and set up one time slot. So I'll click on 1 p.m. here on Monday, April 7th, and say this is going to be the actual demo. And this is going to go on from 1 p.m. to, say, 2:30 p.m. At a minimum, I'm going to need 5 volunteers, and I don't want any more than 10. Can also add some notes and comments here, so I'll go ahead and do that. We'll just put test notes and comments. But you can use that field to describe what you're looking for in your volunteers, what their responsibilities, job duties, that sort of thing is going to be. Notice we immediately come back to this screen. The time slot's been added. I can click on it and edit it or delete it. I can save and return later to just leave this project in a pending state. Or I can already, since I've defined my project and defined my time slots, submit it straight for review by an administrator. In this case, I'll save and return later. This automatically brings me into the project administration screen, where I can see all the projects I've created in their various statuses. And here it is, Demo Volunteer Management, listed under Pending Projects. And I can click on that for more information and see a brief synopsis here of everything I've entered, my time slots, and I can even mouse over the actual demo here for my test notes and comments, a little more details. Again, from here I have the option to edit the details, edit the time slots, or I can finally submit it for review. So I'll go ahead and submit that for review. I get a little feedback that it's been submitted for review. Now it's moved into this bucket, the project submitted for review. It shows I have 1 in here. Gives a brief description of that. And then you'll notice this project administration section down here at the bottom. We use the relationships module in iMIS to actually manage whether or not you're an administrator for a given chapter, where in this case, my account is set up to be an administrator for everything. I'm a staff administrator. So I can see and approve and edit any projects, including my own. And sure enough, here is Demo Volunteer Management. And I have the opportunity to edit it if I feel that the content's out of place or if something's misspelled or whatever, but I'm just going to go ahead and approve this project flat out. That's going to send an email to both myself and Mr. Richter as the leader of the project. Those emails will be logged in our activity records. So we have those in iMIS there. And you can see now it's moved into active projects. So if I click on it again, now I get some different options here. I can manage the hours on this particular project. I'll show you that quickly here. This shows a bucket for each of my time slots. In this instance, I don't have anyone volunteered for the time slots yet, so I can't manage their particular hours. I can use this Add Volunteer button here to add a volunteer specifically to the project. For example, say Randy showed up and volunteered for it. He didn't put in his hours, so I want to make sure he gets credit for that, so I'll hit that button. I can also add bulk hours. Maybe my family came and I don't want to individually enter them into the system, but I do want to make sure their hours count, so I can enter those here and save it at any point throughout the project's lifespan. Next thing I'm going to show you is pledges. Click this Add a New Pledge button here, and I'll go ahead and add a new one to the system. So we'll call this pledge Personal Gratification. And I intend to give back to my community by pledging my time. And I'm going to start this today, April 7th. And I'm going to have this pledge go on for maybe a month. And I'm going to see if I can get 24 hours volunteered in a month. So I'm going to be able to use this system to actually track my progress on that pledge. I can add some agencies and schools here that I'm intending to pledge for. This is mainly for Quest actually requested this feature for their Spring into Action campaign, where they're asking their employees to pledge their time and create teams and do some pledging activities for their corporate responsibility arm. So this is more for their reporting. And then I'll go ahead and I'll just say I'm going to volunteer at local schools and maybe my local soup kitchen. And now on my existing pledges screen, you can see I have my personal gratification pledge. It shows all the details here. My hours at this point are 0 complete of 24 pledged. So I have nothing on my progress bar. I can edit that pledge or delete it. So I'm going to go out and search for some opportunities here. See if I can't maybe track down something I can volunteer for. I can filter this down, but I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the list as is. Looks pretty good. I want to see as many results as I can. And sure enough, here is my demo volunteer management. You notice there's a button here where I can click and tell a friend about this project. And it's something I really believe in. I want to spread the word, maybe get my friends involved. So it'll automatically prepend with this message here. I found this great opportunity, a link to details about the project. I can add any information I want to add here, and that'll shoot off an email to whoever I specify in the toolbox and invite them to become involved in this particular project. This will also be logged in an activity record on my iMIS record. So I can see the time slots here. Again, mouse over and get the description on that. That sounds like something I'd be interested in. I can see there's 10 slots remaining, and that's because I set a maximum of 10 volunteers, and so far no one's volunteered. So I'll go ahead and click the volunteer button. Now, because this project's actually taking place during the period of the pledge I set up, I actually get the option of assigning this particular volunteer opportunity to that pledge. And I'm going to go ahead and do that so I can track that as part of that pledge. Reloads my search results here, and now you can see you're already signed up for this time slot, and now I only have 9 slots remaining. And sure enough, if I go to my pledges under my personal gratification pledge, I can see that now that project, Demo Volunteer Management, and that time slot, the actual demo, is associated to that personal gratification pledge. Still don't have any hours complete because I haven't actually recorded any. And at this point, I can cancel my participation in that particular time slot. Similarly, I can go to my signups at any point and see all the information on the upcoming volunteer opportunities I have, including this one, Demo Volunteer Management, and I can cancel that straight from here or tell a friend all about it. I'm going to go ahead and report my hours on this. And I've worked 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, my hours have been successfully saved. I can see 2 here. And now if I head back into my pledges, there it is, 2 complete of 24 pledged. And I can see I'm 8%, and I got a little bit of progress bar going there. So that's a good thing. I can also edit my volunteer profile. This includes a couple of buckets. This miscellaneous section in particular applies only to Quest at this point, and because my record is tied to Quest, that's why I'm seeing this. And they're really interested in tracking what work group people are part of by which executive vice president they report to. So in this case, I've chosen Rich Bear. Most people wouldn't see this miscellaneous piece here. The really important thing on here is the interests, skills and talents, and availability, where you can select broad-based things that you're interested in, specific skills and talents that you think you can provide as a volunteer, and when you're available to volunteer. And then based on your communications options, you have an option here, email me when a new project matches my interests, skills, talents, or availability. So that'll automatically notify me if a project gets entered into the system that matches these skills, interests, talents, and availability. And you also have several other options here. You can be emailed when a project's submitted for review if you've been defined in the relationships module as being an administrator that can review projects. You can be emailed automatically when someone volunteers for one of your projects. Again, you can be emailed when a project matches your interests, skills, availability. You can be emailed a reminder the day before you've signed up for a time slot. So if I have something coming up tomorrow, I can automatically get an email, hey, don't forget about that. And then the day after, I can get an email reminder to remind me to record my hours for that time slot. To do that, the best way to go about it is to go to the Report Volunteer Hours, where I can not only see all the projects within the volunteer management system that have already been defined that I volunteered for, and jump off from here to report my hours, but I can also add an on-the-fly sort of ad hoc volunteer project just by clicking on this button here. It brings me to a screen very similar to the other stuff, but this is, say, last weekend I volunteered at a soup kitchen. I want to make sure I get credit for that, and I want to make sure that those hours are included against, say, a pledge that I have, and you can actually select any pledges that you've defined to apply this particular project to. This isn't moderated by the administrator. They don't need to be approved. They're just sort of ad hoc, off-the-cuff projects, but you want to make sure you get your credit for that and you get time for that. There's a page with some good resources, some links out to different networks for volunteering, finding your local volunteer centers, how to get involved, what to do, what kind of project ideas. And then a handful of things Quest have provided, some volunteer ideas for work groups, individuals or families, and some forms specific to their employees that are part of that Spring into Action campaign that they're doing via this website. A couple other things you can do is tell a friend just in general about the volunteer management website, get the word out, get them involved. And there are reports you can run at the administrative level to get sorts of data back in a crystal report format that can be exported to PDF or Excel of project leader data, a roster of volunteers for a project, participation detail in a given project, and even volunteer information by congressional district. So that's sort of a quick overview of volunteer management. In relation to iMIS, you've got the login and create account actually creates a customer record. All emails sent by the system are logged on that individual's activity records. And this all uses ibo.net to ensure that that middleware can provide a sort of buffer through upgrades such that we're not directly hitting the database, which can get kind of dicey if table names change or columns or things are added. Provides a sort of upgrade path there that as long as that middleware is being upgraded in place, the code itself doesn't even need to be touched. So that's volunteer management. If you have any questions, shoot off an email to info@atsol.org.